Well, there was also a report last week in Punchbowl News, co-founded by the estimable Anna Palmer, that Marjorie Taylor Greene was the canary in the coal mine, that there were actually several other Congress people planning to step down because they too had had enough. And they're getting a ton of doxing online. Their families are threatened. I don't know how much of that is actually by just bad foreign actors and it's not real. But the good news for Marjorie Taylor Greene is she has apparently, after 5 years in Congress, she's not leaving empty-handed. Marjorie Taylor Greene is resigning her seat 2 days after she's eligible for a pension from Congress.
I think most people would resign their jobs if they are going to resign, they would wait out the days before they receive their pension. I mean, I think that there's a larger discussion, at least online, and I have no insight into this, about the amounts of money that she may have made during her tenure as a congressperson. I think Laura Loomer is, doing her Laura Loomer thing about this. But what I would say, and again, I don't know the details of that, but what I do certainly appreciate is that the Trump White House is going to go to war, as it does with all of its antagonists with Marjorie Taylor Greene. So they're gonna set her up as an enemy, and they're going to try to take her down, whether rightly or wrongly.
Well, Laura Loomer, I think, claimed her as yet another scout. Laura Loomer's been slightly below the radar for the last few months, but she popped back up and went loomered after MTG resigned. She also said, and this was a post on X last week, it's all about the money for her. Always has been. She's doing this for the money. Expect to see her portfolio explode between now and January 2026. Marjorie Taylor Greene.
And I'm sure that is, Laura Loomer has always carried on a sotto voce conversation with the president. And is it possible? Is it likely that she is there channeling an irate president? Of course.
Interesting. Well, we'll be watching to see what comes out about Marjorie Taylor Greene's portfolio over the next few months. But what we can say is she entered Congress with her family business, a construction business. We know she'll get a full congressional pension, but it'd be very interesting to know what else.
We don't know that was the worth of the business either. I mean, we've seen this reported, but believe me, as someone who has had his net worth.
What is your net worth?
I have seen mine. My net worth is scant, but I have seen it rise to extraordinary heights on the internet.
All right. Well, we'll rely on.
I discount most internet numbers.
All right. Well, we'll rely on the White House to release Marjorie Taylor Greene's gains during her 5 years in Congress. I think you're right. That's exactly what they're going to do. And we encourage them to. I'm very curious. Tim Walz responded to the retard comment by saying, release your MRI results.
I mean, there's always been calls for Trump to be more transparent. Release your taxes. He releases nothing, and it has no effect. But, I think that we are starting to see a variety of issues which go to the heart of the contradictions, of the Trump contradictions, and which are both emotional issues and oddly unifying issues. And it begins with Epstein, of course. I mean, Epstein is an issue of the right and the left. And it is an issue that continues and continues and continues. And I think that's part of what has to happen here in terms of the opposition, a kind of focus on these things. Now, I think the economy, affordability, whatever the word we're using, is coming strongly into the picture, which uniting both sides. Life costs too much money. I mean, nobody is happy. Nobody perceives the economy as getting better. Everyone perceives the economy as getting worse.
Except the very rich, because the markets have been on fire.
Right. And even worse. I mean, that's glaring when the very rich thinks things are getting better and the rest of us think that they don't. That makes it feels like things are even getting worse. In other words, it is an issue. It is it is a flaw in the Trump sense of indomitability and of that Trump ability to always change the subject. The other issue that I think grows more and more every day is the cruelty issue. Now, there are two sides on the immigration dispute, and there will continue to be two sides there. But I think what there aren't two sides on is the ugliness of these masked guys in black ripping people out of their homes and away from their families, and to see video of it, rather now constant video. So again, that seems to be just another issue. Epstein, the economy, the cruelty issue, these are not partisan issues. I think they are rather unifying issues, and I think that they are issues that are joined to Donald Trump. I mean, and then the other issue too, which I think gains traction every day, is the grift issue. That it is Trump, his family, and his friends are clearly in it for what they can get until they can't get it anymore. And that is again, one of those issues that unites everybody. Nobody is looking at this and thinking, you go, guys.
The Democrats have rightly been criticized for all sorts of reasons. Very notably, they have had no response really to the Epstein affair. Joe Biden didn't ask for a release of the files. It was less of an issue then. But why do you think that is? And what should they be doing?
Why didn't the Democrats press that issue?
Why wasn't it a campaign issue? Why wasn't his friendship?
Honestly, I think that they didn't know it was the issue. I think they've been uncomfortable with talking about the issue. It's like why the media never made it an issue. Why this story has waited for so long. And I think the answer to that is a level of discomfort with the story.
But is it discomfort because Bill Clinton also took a lot of rides on Jeffrey Epstein's plane and they don't want to bring it back to the Democrats? Or is it just the general icky nature, which you've mentioned before?
I think it is the general ickiness of it. I think it is the Clinton, the Democrats thing. And I think that that as to probably the overriding issue here, I think people believe Donald Trump. I passed them in the hallway. Instead of understanding that it was the window that opened, that gave you a view, the true view of Donald Trump's character. It is the character issue. And I think I think there are two sides of this. There's the conspiracy issue, which many people have embraced about the Epstein affair. But then I think it becomes clearer and clearer, especially when Donald Trump tries to move further and further away from it or hide more and more of it, that it is the Donald Trump character issue. He's a dirty dog. And he's been able to mask that for a long time. It was kind of one of those unknown known issues. Everybody knows it, but yet somehow he's been able to change the subject when it's come up, and I think that has he's less and less able to change the subject on Epstein, and Epstein is more and more an issue about Donald Trump's character.
I'm not sure people care about his character, though, because we've known, as you say, he's a dirty dog. It turns out that, you know, his cheating on Melania shortly after she'd given birth to Barron was in fact seen as a qualifying factor. People liked the fact he'd spent the night with, or actually not even spent the night, had a couple of hours with Stormy Daniels, despite his denials. I don't know why he didn't just lean into it.
Well, I think that these things are, I mean, you're absolutely right. But what becomes the silver bullet? You know, what becomes, you know, there's a lot of things that people know or think they know, or pieces of it, and they don't crystallize until a moment. That's the moment at which becomes a scandal. And the connection to Epstein is the objective correlative of Donald Trump's character. The fact that he may well have known what was going on at Jeffrey Epstein's house in Palm Beach. He indubitably knew what was going on. They were the closest of friends, of which I have obviously said many, many, many times.
You have.
And now that has become clearly one of the key issues. What did Donald Trump know about Jeffrey Epstein, and when did he know it?
The tipping point for his character.
But that is just one of these issues that I think sticks to him. I mean, the economy, he's not going to escape the economic issue. And then the economic issue is kind of broader, and again goes to Donald Trump personally, which is he doesn't know what he's doing. And I think everybody has that sense of this. Tariffs today, tariffs not today, threats today, threats not today, inflation, does he really understand that? You know, again and again, it is on him. And the economy, you know, basically falls on anybody who is the president. But then the broader context of a president who more and more shows that he's just not capable, certainly not consistent. And that probably means he's not capable of dealing with it, especially as things get worse and worse and not better and better.